Hello everyone. Let us begin this session, Introduction to Digital Communication, by understanding the basics of communication system and then trying to understand the basic building blocks of digital communication system, and then we will also try to know what are the different types of modulation techniques that are being used here, why we have to move for digital transmission of data instead of analog transmission of data. The main purpose of any communication is basically the transmission of information from a source to a recipient or a receiver by making use of a channel. So we have the block diagram of a communication system, which consists of a source. It can be analog source or a digital source, and then we have a transmitter. The transmitter can be a transducer, amplifier, modulator, oscillator, or antenna, transmitting antenna. And then the channel here, it can be a wired channel or a wireless channel. If it is a wired channel, we know it is going to be definitely a cable, that is a copper cable or a twisted pair cable, optical fiber cable. And if the channel is wireless channel, then it is what we call it as free space. And the receiver is going to be antenna, receiving antenna, amplifier, demodulator, oscillator, power amplifier, again a transducer to convert back the original signal to convert back the electrical input in the form of an signal. Then we have a recipient. Recipient is basically a person, or it can be a speaker of a computer, or it can be a loudspeaker which is connected to a mic, anything. Moving on to the next part, let us understand why we have to move from analog communication or analog transmission of the data to digital transmission of the data. So now the question is, why digital? Digital communication is because it is easy to regenerate the distorted signal, or it is easy to regenerate the original signal from that with that of the noisy signal. So what is basically we are going to make use of in case of regeneration of an original signal from the distorted signal is we are going to make use of a regenerative repeaters along the transmission path, which is majorly helpful for us to detect the original digital signal and remove the noise signal, or it is helpful for us to make the original signal noise free. It helps us in prevention of accumulation of noise along the transmission path. So these kinds of repeaters are used majorly in all our telecommunication cables, that telephone cables that we are using nowadays. We have one more advantage of digital communication, that is it is easier and more efficient to multiplex several digital signals. When I say several digital signals, it is I can multiplex a voice signal, I can multiplex a textual signal or a message signal, and then transmit that till it reaches the destination. So we can make use of a digital multiplexing techniques like time and code division multiple access techniques, which is majorly used in digital communication and is easier to implement than the analog technique that we have studied, which is frequency division multiple access. So we go with several digital signal processing or several digital signals transmission, which is efficiently done in case of your digital communication. And what we have with respect to the implementation of digital communication system is the digital hardware. The digital hardware implementation is flexible and it permits the usage of microprocessor, it permits the usage of digital switching systems, it permits the usage of your VLSI, which is low cost, and the production of that low cost switches are very easier when compared to that of the analog communication filters, which are of very high cost. So that is one more advantage of moving towards digital than the analog communication. So in this figure we are able to see we have at distance 1 we are originally transmitting a pulse signal. When we look at the same signal after a certain distance of movement to distance 2, it has got distorted, and when I look at distance 3 the signal is degraded, and degraded in the sense almost degraded, and when it moves to the distance 4 the signal is badly degraded, which means I have almost lost the information, or the signal strength is very low. So what I do here is, or what in digital communication we basically do is, we are going to make use of regenerative repeaters, which is going to amplify the signal by removing the noise component, and it is going to regenerate the original pulse that was actually transmitted from the transmission end. So that is what is done at distance 5. If we want to look at it, is nothing but the amplification which is done to regenerate the original pulse. So as the propagation distance increases, the transmission of analog signal is definitely going to degrade. So in order to boost up that analog signal, or in order to strengthen that analog signal, we need what is so called as repeaters, which are used in transmission paths and in telephone lines too, in order to generate the original signal, amplify the original signal, and get the exact signal that was transmitted from the source end. Coming to the basic building blocks of digital communication, we can see both the sections, the upper part and the lower part, are symmetrical to each other. The upper part is representing as the transmitter section, and the lower part is representing as the receiver section. So now we will look into each one of the blocks, but what is that we are here to concentrate here is on formatting of the information source signals, and then pulse modulation of the signals. The input information here is converted into the binary digits, which we call it as bits, which are zeros and ones. They are then grouped as digital messages, or they are also sometimes called as message symbols. So these message symbols are transmitted across the channel. In our channel encoding process, we are going to correct, if at all there are some errors present in the signals or error present in the message symbols that are existing, we are going to correct it by making use of the proper error correction codes. Then moving on to the next block, which is multiplexing. Multiplexing, as I already mentioned, it is multiplexing of two different kinds of data, and then helping that data to traverse in the channel. So then the next block we can see, it is a pulse modulation block. Modulation, as we know here, it is the process by which message symbols or the channel symbols, after channel coding process or after the channel code encode block, we call them as channel symbols, are converted into waveforms, and they are made to be compatible with the required transmission channel. So whatever the requirement that has to be there for those bits which are then converted as channel symbols, so we are making them to be compatible with such kind of channel symbols, and then we will be helping that particular symbols to traverse in the channel. Here the pulse modulation is a very important step, because each symbol that we are trying to transmit must first be transformed from a binary representation to a baseband waveform. What is this binary representation? We are trying to represent that symbol by making use of voltage levels as zeros and ones, and that we want to transmit that in the form of a baseband waveform. So the term here baseband refers to a signal whose spectrum extends from DC up to some finite value. I repeat, the term baseband refers to a signal whose spectrum extends from DC up to some finite value. And what is this finite value? What should be the range of this baseband waveform? It is always less than megahertz. It is not going to be greater than megahertz. It always falls well within megahertz. The pulse modulation block also uses some filtering mechanisms in order to minimize the transmission bandwidth. When this pulse modulation is applied to binary symbols, the resulting binary waveform is what is called as pulse code modulated waveform. Pulse code modulated waveform. And in our telephone line application, these waveforms are called as basically represented as line codes. For telephone applications, it is sufficient if we make use of pulse code modulation, but when it comes for higher end application like RF transmission, the very next important step that is of most importance is bandpass modulation, which is the very next block to your pulse modulation. So what is that we are going to do in pulse modulation is, it is required whenever the transmission medium will not support the propagation of pulse like waveforms. So then we move on to the next kind of modulation technique, which is called as bandpass modulation. So what we do in bandpass modulation is, the term bandpass basically is we are trying to frequency translate the given original signal by a carrier wave to a frequency which is much larger or which is much higher than the spectral content of the original signal. So the original signal is frequency translated by making use of a carrier of higher frequency, and that signal we call it as, or that output we call it as bandpass modulation. Multiplexing and multiple access procedures is basically the combining of signals which might have different characteristics. Like I can say it is a voice signal, or I can say it is a text signal, which are from different sources. We can combine both of the message signals or both of the signals which are originated basically from different sources and transmit that particular signal by combining both of them is done by making use of the multiplex block as well as the multiple access block. Frequency spreading block, which is present between your modulation and then the multiple access. So this frequency spreading block, it is going to produce a signal which is relatively invulnerable to interferences. When I say invulnerable to interferences, it is not going to get affected by any other signals in nature or which is intentionally generated kind of noise. So it's not going to get affected. The signal is not going to get affected by these kinds of vulnerability in nature or intentionally generated noise. And this is used to enhance the privacy of the communicators. So in order to enhance the privacy and to provide good encryption methodology, we are going to make use of frequency spreading procedure in our digital communication. Synchronization is the main block which is running throughout in the whole of the block, in whole of the digital communication block, which mainly is the key element of this whole communication system, which is going to be a clock signal which is involved in controlling all the signal processing things which is going to happen within the digital communication system in order to provide the synchronicity between the transmitter end and the receiver end. This synchronous block is being used. On the same lines, we have the receiver part. Receiver part is going to receive the signal which has been transmitted by the transmission antenna, and then once it receives the message or the information or the signal, it is going to again send it back to the multiple axis, then get the frequency despreaded in order to get or extract the original information, demodulate it, and then channel will decode the signal and then decrypt the signal which was encrypted earlier or priorly in our transmitter section, and then it will make it compatible for a user to read the information which is done at the formatting of the signals at the receiver end. Now let us look at the next section, which is going to be what are the contents that we are going to have in case of each one of the block. What is the procedures that are followed in each one of the block is been represented here. So we will be concentrating mainly on the formatting and the baseband signaling. So in formatting, as we can see, we are going to know about the character coding, sampling, quantization, encoding processes, and then pulse code modulation technique. And moving on with this as a thing, we are going to source code it by making use of some of the lossy compression methods and lossless compression methods or block coding methods, and move on to the baseband signaling waveforms or pulse code modulated waveforms which are generated from the formatting section. Then these pulse code modulated waveforms, we also call it as digital formats, which are also known as line codes in telephone communication. So which are labeled here as non-return to zero, return to zero. So these things will be involved in baseband signaling. And one more kind of modulation technique which is being concentrated is M-array pulse modulation or pulse amplitude modulation, which will be concentrating mainly in baseband signaling. The other sections which are present here are of importance, but as of now we are going to concentrate on formatting and baseband signaling. Coming for the formatting and transmission of baseband signal, so you can see it again has got two sections. One is the transmitter section, one more is the receiver section. So in the transmitter section, the information source is represented in three forms. One is digital information, textual information, and analog information. If the information that we are getting from the source, if it is digital in nature, we need not convert it or we need not format it into any other forms. So we will just feed it to the pulse modulation block and then we will be transmitting it through the transmission channel. But if it is a textual information, what are the methods that are being involved in textual information formatting, which we'll be looking in our next session. So as of now, the textual information has to be encoded or it has to be formatted by making use of standard techniques, and then it will be converted to digital bit streams that is fed as an input to your pulse modulation block. Coming for if the information is of the type of analog information. So if it is analog in nature, we have to sample that signal, quantize it, and then we are going to encode that particular quantized level of the analog information and give a value to that sample and then transmit it through as a bit stream to the pulse modulation block, and that is what is transmitted by making use of a transmission channel. So once it is received at the receiving channel, it will be a pulse waveform. So we have to demodulate it back or we have to detect it back. Demodulation is basically recovery of a waveform, recovery of a baseband pulse. And if it is detection is defined as a decision making regarding the digital meaning of the waveform. When I say digital meaning of the waveform, it means whether the pulse is going to have an amplitude of 1 or it is going to be 0 or it is again 1. So that is how it is going to detect and make the decision whether it is a 0 bit or it is a bit 1. So after demodulation or detection, if it is digital information, we are going to directly extract it back as a digital bit stream, and if it is textual information, we have to decode it back and get the textual information. And if at all it is an analog information, decoded bits whatever is present, we have to low pass filter it and convert it back to an analog signal by making use of D2A converter, and then we are going to get the output as an analog information. So this section at the receiver, we are going to call it as an information sink. So we saw how the data can be formatted to match with the transmission of the baseband signal, so at the information source, and how it is going to get reconstruct back at the information sink. Next we have the summary of the overall session that we have dealt with. One is the need for digital communication, why we have to move for a digital communication, why not analog communication, and then we have the next concept that has been learned, which is the basic block of a communication system, and then we moved on to the building blocks of the digital communication system. And also we have looked at the formatting of the formatting methods that has to be followed for transmission of the baseband signal. So that was done at the summary, that was done at your formatting section. I hope it was very useful. Thank you. Happy learning.